Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Huddle Up. You're here with the world famous Get Fresh crew, Guy Newcomb, Darren Archer, and yourself, Johnny Mack, also known as J Mac, the man, the jack of all trades, and Guy Newcomb, scoreboard guy, and my man, the world famous DA. I'm not going to tell you what the DNA really stands for. We'll just leave it at that. Hey, sorry we missed you last week. We had some technical difficulties. This week, we're going to have to do our show. We're doing it right now, gentlemen, on a Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you out there in the land of music and entertainment, we're doing it, sports and entertainment. We're doing it on Wednesday. Forgive us for not having some updates on Albert Pujols. But we're going to start off right now with Guy and DA. Tell me how the week's been, gentlemen. I know you want to talk about some things. Guy, I know you called me and texted me, and you were excited about the Bears. And DA, I know you were crying because of Cubs. No, you were happy, actually, because they swept the Mets. I believe it was. And so we got a lot to talk about, gentlemen. Let's just jump right into it. Glad you're here with us. The St. Louis Cardinals, hey, I'm a little nervous right now. The bats have been silent. Pujols has been a little bit silent. I'm a little scared if we start the playoffs today, we'd be going into it on a down slope. Hopefully we can get it started again. Guys, tell me what you think about the Cardinals' chances. And once again, we got to talk about Pujols going for 700. I said he wouldn't hit it. I'm stubborn. I'm going to stick with it. He filters out at 699. DA, where are you at with that?
He's going to get it. Mark it down right here and now. Mark it down. Done deal. I like their chances also. I mean, they're in, and if playoffs started today, they'd be the number 3 seed playing Philadelphia Phillies, I believe. And that's as of today on Thursday. But I don't see the Milwaukee Brewers catching them as far as the divisional race is concerned. They lock up the 3 spot. As far as McGuire, I'm jumping back to my old days. Pujols. As far as Pujols is concerned, I think he's going to get a lot more at bats down the stretch, especially when they clinch. It'll be time to focus on him and get him those at bats, and I think he gets it.
Yeah, I think going into this recording, I think the magic number is 7, and they still got to play. They still play Pittsburgh 6 times. I think he may end up. They're not going to be back home for a few days, but he may end up hitting it out in L.A. I mean, he lives out in L.A. He's got a lot of friends out there in L.A. Played for the Dodgers, played for the Angels. I think that's where he gets it. Maybe is at L.A. But I think with regards to them slumping, I mean, their bats right now. I mean, Arenado and Goldschmidt, they were on a tear. You couldn't expect them to keep that up. But you go back to the trade deadline, you go back to the second half. Cardinals have the second best record in baseball, and that's to the Dodgers. They got the second best record in baseball. So this little slump, they're just kind of evening out. I mean, baseball's ups and downs and things like that. And I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be okay.
Well, here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal, gentlemen. I don't know. Maybe there's a peak period also. So if you're looking at sports, everyone has a peak, and if you peak too soon, as we all know, then you're going to have problems kind of getting back up there when the playoffs start. And I just got a feeling that the Cardinals hit a stretch where they were peaking, and I'm not sure if they can get that and turn. It's not a key where you can just turn it off and on. I don't really know if they're going to be able to do that. So what are your thoughts? Do you think they peaked a little early? Or do you think, this is kind of baseball and it has its ebbs and flows and they could turn it on maybe when the postseason starts? I don't know, DA. What are your thoughts?
I think it's just ebbs and flows. And to be honest, getting to the postseason is 90% of the task. And the other 10% is hope you get hot. Hope your pitchers are throwing great games and hope your batters get hot at the right time. You take a look back to 2 or 3 years ago when the Washington Nationals won the World Series. They got hot. I mean, they just got hot. I don't think it really had to do anything with them peaking. They had a good pitching staff, which they knew they could get to the playoffs, but their bats got hot. And I think that, you're right. Every team, you want to peak at the right time, but I think there's a lot of ebb and flow that go with baseball, and just getting hot, getting your bats hot, and pitchers being on point, and just things kind of roll together. Guy, what do you think?
Well, I think right now you got to clinch, and then you got to get Wainwright and Michaelis and Montgomery some rest. Because you talk about peaking, I mean, Cardinals won 17 in a row last year to end the season, and then go in and blow it. So it ain't nothing to do with peaking. It's getting guys rest. Your at bats are going to come around. But as far as that, as far as peaking, they peaked at the exact right time last year, and then blew it because they couldn't afford to get guys rest. I think they got to get those guys on the mound some rest. You get the September call ups. You've got arms you can throw. Wainwright talked 2 weeks ago about having a tired arm. Well, he's 41 years old and he's not Tom Brady. Um, he needs a break. He needs to get that back, and I think that's going to happen as soon as they clinch. They're going to start saving some guys some innings.
All right. I think the number, I'm not sure. I looked, I think it might be 6. But with all that being said, Guy, you and I had a conversation, and you really think that Aaron Judge chasing the home run American League record is iconic. I completely disagree with you. I'd rather go watch a Star Wars episode or something. I'd rather go watch Dancing in the Streets or so. Hey, you know what? You know what? I had the time of my life. I love that movie. I'm not really interested in Aaron Judge's quest to be this home run champion. I just don't see it. But Guy, for some reason you think it's iconic. But let me first say this: nobody puts Baby in the corner. But what do you think though, Guy? Why do you think that's so iconic?
Well, you go back 157 years of professional baseball. There's been 3 guys hit 60 that were clean. Plus, he's doing it in the American League. He's doing it in Yankee Stadium. It's 61 years to the date, I believe, that Roger Maris hit number 61. And at that time, nobody, even in New York, wanted him to break it. I mean, Mickey Mantle was the blonde-haired kid. Everybody wanted Mantle to break it. Maris died in 1985. Was still that asterisk beside his number or beside the record. And I know you've had the Bonds and McGuire, Sosa, go on and hit more than 60. But they're number one. They're all in the National League. And what Judge is doing in this time and day of baseball with the shifts, with every pitcher throwing 95, 98 miles an hour or better, and doing it in New York where the pressure from the media is unbelievable. I just think and of course he's had some injuries in his background. He played 154 games one time. This year he hit 60 in 147 in game 147. So they're not going to put an asterisk beside it. I just think it's unbelievable what he's done in this day and time, and he's done it clean. And I know everybody else has broken the record, but I think it's absolutely amazing what he has done.
DA, if you agree with him, I'm gonna turn this whole thing upside down. Look, I hear you. We think Judge is clean. I know for a fact. I saw you when you bought him. You got on Yankee underwear. That's okay. I'm not mad at you, guy. I'm just simply saying you're a Yankee homer. I get it. DA, I know how you might feel about it. I know. Why don't you touch on that? And while you're doing that, also the Royals had some interesting moves they made today, DA. But what are your thoughts about Judge and what the Royals had to do today?
Yeah, first of all, with Judge, I tend to somewhat agree just to keep the peace. How's that, Johnny? Will that work?
All right.
Okay. I somewhat tend to agree, just from the simple fact that 60 is kind of a magic number for home runs in a season. Does it break any records? No. Is it Sosa McGuire? Back in the day when we were enjoying baseball and when baseball really, really needed something of that magnitude to help, bring the fans back in it. No. But at the same time, I still think it's good for baseball. There's pennant races going on right now, divisional races going on. There's also, Pujols. You got Judge. There are stories to follow outside of just young players who are the future of baseball being brought up and how do they fare, in this showtime, so to speak, for the young players that are on the teams that are out of the race. So I think it's good. I really do. To the other question that you asked about the Kansas City Royals, the Royals fired Dayton Moore this afternoon, let him go. After 16 years, I believe, he was with the Royals. He was general manager and then was recently promoted as the president of operations. And I think that may be some foreshadowing of other heads to roll, so to speak. I've got to think that their pitching coach Eldred has got to be feeling some heat right now, and of course Mike Matheny. Very seldom do you fire a president or general manager and not get rid of your coach.
I
Well,
agree. I think that's all really important. I think it might be a domino effect. What do you got, guy?
well, I mean, Dayton Moore's, he came in, had the one great year. I mean, they went to back-to-back World Series, but in 2017 when they had to ship off all those guys, Mustakas and those guys left and went somewhere else, they have not been able to develop pitchers, and I think that's the reason that he is gone. Plus, you got a new owner. I mean, this guy spent 200 million dollars on this team. You've got a new owner there. Patrick Mahomes is an owner, and Dayton Moore. It was kind of like the Macarena. I don't know who wrote that dang song. I don't care, but everybody can sing it. Everybody knows every word of it. And it'll be played at weddings for 200 years. He was a one-hit wonder. Got one World Series and hasn't done anything since. And I think the Piccolo, who's taken over, as the interim, so to speak, GM, I think he's going to make his own moves too, just like the owner did. Yeah, so I think they're all gone. I don't think anybody survives it come October 15th. They're looking for a new manager and a new pitching coach, and they just have not been able to develop pitchers. And Brady Singer's done okay, and if he's on the mound, they got a chance. Greinke's a Hall of Famer, but he's suffered. But he's a one-hit wonder. He got lucky.
I don't know if I call that. They went to 2 World Series, won one. They put together a lot of young talent. But I do understand what you're saying. I do think some heads are going to roll. There's going to be some people losing jobs, looking for employment elsewhere at the end of the year, gentlemen. And we're going to end this segment by this. I want to tell you one thing. First of all, my reference earlier was to Dirty Dancing. No one puts baby in the corner. And there's really only one number that really means something. That's 50. You know what? Because if my man Luke say he can eat 50 eggs, then he can eat 50 eggs. That's the number you need to know. Cool hand Luke. Hey, thank you for listening to this segment. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about some Chiefs, the Missouri Tigers, and the MSU Bears, who put on a quite impressive show last Saturday down in Fayetteville and almost pulled the upset of the year. We want to talk about it and see what your thoughts are and comments. We'll be right back on Huddle Up. Thank you.